Pretty dramatic, right? But believe it or not, this happens all the time. Regardless of whether you have a $500 bike or a $5,000 bike, you may be prone to the silent killer getting ready to destroy your bike. So what's going on and how can you avoid the silent killer? That's what we're here to find out. Although it seems really complicated, the shifting system on your bike is actually pretty simple. When you're pedaling your bike, one click of the gear on the shifter should make the chain move precisely from one gear to the next. If you pull the trigger the other way, the chain should move from one gear precisely back the other way, an exact amount. Now this is assuming that the bike is tuned properly. That means that the cable tension is correct, and also that everything in the back of the bike is perfectly aligned in a parallel way. If any of those things are not really correct, you're going to have trouble with your shifting. Another thing that you want to be aware of is that your bike has what's called a high and low limit set up on there. There's two little screws in the back of most derailleurs that will prevent you from shifting the chain too far one way or the other. That's why they're called limiters. It's limiting the action. That's really important, but we're going to find out in just 1 second why that's true. There's a weak spot in the system, and this is where the silent killer is. The derailleur is attached to your bicycle with this aluminum derailleur hanger. This is actually a piece that's designed to break away in the event that you have a crash. Or you bump the bike or something along those lines. And the reason that is built that way is so that it doesn't actually destroy your frame. So here's where the silent killer comes in. If you have a crash on your bike, or you bump the bike into a rock, or somebody kicks it, or it falls over on its side, or you put it in the car on the wrong side, on the drive side, and it gets bent in the back of the car, when you're riding along, if that's not perfectly aligned, your shifting is going to be bad. And worse than that, if it's off by a few millimeters, it's actually going to cause a disaster on the back end of your bike. Let's take a look and see how that happens. Okay, let's do a little demonstration. Now kids, don't try this at home. This is not something I recommend you do to your bike, but we're going to sacrifice this derailleur and hanger so that you can see what happens when your bike is not adjusted properly. If you're out on your mountain bike, it's more likely to have an accident like this, but even if you have a road bike, if it falls over while it's parked by the side of your car or something like that, you may actually bend this derailleur hanger without even realizing it. And now I'm going to show you why that's kind of a disaster. So step one, you're riding along. I think that pretty well is going to damage the back of the bike. Okay, let's take a look and see what happens. And there it is. Now your bike is destroyed. Now, we did this on the stand, but if you're in real life and you're going up a hill or down a hill or something like that, and you've got a lot of torque on the chain, you're now at a point where, as this thing continues to pull through, you're going to destroy this wheel. Now, when you look at this, derailleur is busted, you're probably going to destroy the wheel, the hanger, and possibly, and we've seen this happen a number of times, where the derailleur itself comes around all the way and hits and dents the back of the frame. If you have a carbon fiber bike, we've actually seen where the derailleur comes in and breaks this tube, pretty much destroying the frame. So that's why you want to make sure that if you ever have, or you just drop your bike or whatever, when you look at the back of the bike, you want to make sure that the derailleur hanger is perfectly aligned with the back of the gears. If that alignment is not there, this is what's going to happen. So how can you stop the silent bike killer? Well, it's pretty easy actually. If you find yourself in a situation where you crashed into a rock, or if your bike just fell over in the parking lot, or you had it stuffed into the back of your car, just take a look at that derailleur hanger on the back of the bike. And you see that little silver, sometimes it's a black piece, but you can see if that piece that holds the derailleur onto the bike is not perfectly square to the back of the gears, you want to make sure you get that attended to. If it's bent just a little bit, we do have a tool that we can bend that back into place, or if it's bent a lot, you probably just want to replace that derailleur hanger. It's pretty cheap insurance. A derailleur hanger is only about $30, something like that. But a new derailleur could be a couple $100, or your frame, if you destroy it, basically throw your bike away and start fresh. So having a spare derailleur hanger is also a good idea. If you know the bike that you have, you want to make sure that you get the correct one. Just keep it as a spare. There are so many derailleur hangers out in the world, we may not always have your derailleur hanger in stock. So getting a fresh one up front before you need it is a great way to save yourself a lot of heartache and wallet ache in the event that you destroy your bike. So I hope you found this video informative and at least a little bit entertaining. If you liked it, go ahead and give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more Cyclecraft TV, hit that subscribe button at the bottom of the page. That's it for me. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out on the road and trail.